Can everybody see that?
Yeah, thank you very much, Lorraine.
I can't see you now, but I can see my my presentation. So if I just start, get myself ready. Okay, so my name's Lorraine Llewellyn, and I'm the acting head teacher here at Bryn Primary School. A little bit of a background. I used to work here 6 years ago for 12 months, and then I worked in another school for 6 years in between and developed exponentially, really, because they were pioneer schools. So I did a lot with the maths pioneer and the curriculum for Wales. We have to drop the new bit now because it's not new anymore for us. And sort of developed as a curriculum ambassador and a curricular leader, and really understanding the process curriculum. And then I returned to the school here in January in Bryn Primary, and the deputy went on a secondment, which gave me the opportunity to be acting deputy head teacher. And then the head teacher has now gone off on maternity, so hence I'm acting head teacher. So very quickly, sort of thinking about this process and this programme as a deputy head initially, the considerations for my task meant me thinking about all the different sort of areas, really. So I had to look at the ESTIN recommendations for the school, and we had 3 recommendations there, looking particularly on self-evaluation and improvement work more sharply on what pupils know, improving pupils' confidence and ability to speak Welsh, and to ensure that teachers' feedback addresses errors in pupils' learning more robustly. I also wanted to take into account the national priorities and the local authorities, so all the research and work that's been done with partnership work with Mick Waters, for example, and also looking at the schools' priorities, which are in line with the ESTIN recommendations. So our SLDP priority area 1 and 4 particularly focused on the self-evaluation processes and the teachers' feedback for the school. I also wanted to really take this opportunity to think about my leadership style. I think, I thought I was a good jack of all trades, had experience in many different ways of working with different people throughout the years, but actually being really reflected in this whole process, I've grown in that process as well, and really thought about my leadership style and how it needs to change as I manage systems and manage people and manage progress and innovation within the school. So after looking at all the considerations within the school and what the needs of the school are, and talking to the teachers in particular, it was very clear that the teachers needed a robust and consistent approach to assessment and tracking in the school. It was happening, but it was very disjointed, irregular, and so the system needed to be put in place so that teachers had a better understanding of attainment and progress of the learners. They could understand the coverage, and then this in turn helped to impact on what the teachers were delivering, their curriculum offer, the universal provision, and therefore have an impact on the standards of learning. The staff, they wanted consistency throughout the process, particularly because we're a mixed class set up in this school. So I wanted to ensure that I could see progression from the year 4 children, whether they were in class 3 or class 4, for example. And I also had to think then at another level on the needs of the staff and their levels of digital competency. You had some teachers who were very au fait with processes and other teachers who were very reluctant with. They wanted the trackers in place and they wanted these systems in place, but they lacked the confidence and digital competency. And part of this process of learning through this task was there was something that came to me in one of the meetings prior to this, when the modules were we feel before we think, and it made me think about a member of staff. If I'm asking them to do something, how are they? What's their emotions and responses to what I'm asking for? And it made me have more empathy with my staff and made me consider how I would deliver approaches, how I could be supportive, how we could perhaps introduce triad work or partnership work so that the teachers felt supported and felt empowered to carry on and deliver. I also wanted to take the time to do some further professional development myself around the subject area of leadership and different leadership styles in particular. and understanding my strengths and areas of development. And some of the activities that we did throughout the modules were really helpful to me to really understand my emotional literacy and where my strengths are and where my weaknesses are and my areas for development. And I think this and the process of this task has helped me develop an effective team. So we put into place assessment trackers, very, very sort of straightforward on Microsoft Excel. They were delivered as cohorts, so the teachers could go in, could see the children, and each tab then sort of developed over time. So you would have assessment tracker for the cohorts, the year 3, current year 3s, for example, and it would have national personalised assessment data on there, but it might have whether they were FSM, whether there was any interventions happening, and that just helped the teachers to get a really clear understanding of their child as a whole and the children that they were teaching, and that way they could think about the delivery and of the curriculum that was needed for those children. The assessment trackers from a school point of view were really helpful, and we tried to link that into another initiative that's happening in the school with developing TIE 360 and how we use that effectively. So that has helped us to think about the progression steps and also the coverage that we are giving. So when the children are sort of experiencing lessons, we can see whether they're are they just exploring it, are they securing it, are they developing, or is that skill embedded? So we're trying to sort of simplify things. The teachers' feedback was, oh, there's stuff everywhere. So now we just have 2 ports of call. We have the assessment tracker, which is sort of the data needs and the specifics of individual cohorts. And then we have the TIE 360, where we can see the coverage and we can see how the children are progressing in those smaller steps. Which is really, really helpful. One of the concerns of the teachers as well was managing workload. I was very mindful of the issues with action short of strike action, the fact that, you know, we don't want it to become an administrative task. So it was about sharing this with teachers, and just saying, you know, can we allocate some time to this, some staff meeting, if we do it together, if we do some partner work, that helps them to sort of get over those fears. Also sort of being very aware of their workload so that they're not it's not having a negative impact, because I was very mindful if you're sort of driving something forward, if the negative connotations behind it will sort of stall the whole process. So thinking about the impact on this, once I feel that I had sort of developed my collaboration skills, and the impact then was improved staff morale, because I've had teachers coming back and saying, oh, it's much easier, it makes life easier, it's just one place. It's been certainly better for transition now at the end of the year. We talk about transition from primary school to secondary school, but there were so many transitions within primary, so especially at the end of the year from one class to the next. It saves time and it's just more organised. So it was something that the staff sort of wanted and needed, but they weren't quite sure how it was going to look. I've also sort of thought about the sort of my performance management targets with my head teacher and how this has supported my leadership roles. I've gone through the process of interview for acting head, and the school improvement officer was sort of talking about this in my interview, and when I was talking about it, he was really impressed, and he's actually asked me to reach out to his school. So I've done some outreach to his school and shared this with them, and they found that that's really useful in their school as well. So my collaboration has gone beyond the school and hopefully help. And I've sort of delivered that once, but I'm sort of feeding back, checking in on people if there's anything I can help with. Sometimes the day-to-day bits that you know, oh, when you're putting in data, use this, not that, or don't sort it in this way because perhaps it will disrupt all of your different cells. So it's, you know, sort of on a smaller level, a management level as much as a leadership level. I think a big thing for me is just shifting the focus from just targets to the how and when to motivate and support the team as well. Thinking about innovation then, it's been really nice. I feel like I've developed my innovation and moved things forward and developed consistency and included developed a robust system within the school. But also I've seen how the staff are now innovated also, and that I've seen teachers come back and say, oh, can I add this? And oh, we've done some ELSA, I'm going to input that into the assessment tracker. So that's been really powerful to me, that they are feeling autonomy and they can add to this as well. It's been really helpful for me to have a coach to sort of be reflective of this whole process. I'm very sort of strong-willed, very independent, and I'm quite singular. And sometimes, especially since I've been in the office, it feels like quite a lonely job. And I think it's been important to me to think holistically, move from the mindset of what I can offer to actually what does the team need. And it's not what I can give, but what others can see. So my priorities and values have definitely changed in there. And I've had to sort of develop my hard skills. I've had to, manage people's time and be responsive to those needs. And I've thought an awful lot. I've done quite a bit of academic research on this as well, thinking about some of this, the growth as what a distributive leadership should look like. I definitely have a deeper understanding of the standards, and now I think I have more of an understanding of how I can nurture myself, but also nurture others. So moving this forward, developing my skills as acting head teacher, perhaps reaching out to people like CAMI so we can share our good practice and think of us as a school as a learning organisation, and also just really sort of honing in my ideas and developing my coaching skills. So there's a lot moving forward, but it sort of really opened my eyes. So that's me. Thank you. That's a little bit of my reference list at the end. As I sort of went down lots of rabbit holes when I was researching things, but it was really, really fascinating.
I'm really interested to look at your reference list and see what you've been reading. Yeah, yes. Thank you ever so much, Lorraine. That was really great, really thorough and really reflective. You mentioned CAMI as well. I understand that as they move into the next phase, they will be that would be great with that work. Yeah, I think they're still shaping what they want it to look like at the moment.
Yes, and I think that's really important, that sort of sharing of good practice, and it's, man is an island sort of thing. And I think we all feel, especially with the Curriculum for Wales, that we're doing so much together, and there's so much to understand, the capacity that's needed to understand progression within the school and how we manage that, how that looks on paper, how we share that with all stakeholders is so massive. But we have to sort of get there in slow, assured steps, really. And just what we do just needs to be consistent, evidence-based, and robust. And I think, that shared vision, and we're in a good place.
Okay, any questions for Lorraine?
Again, an observation really, Lorraine, about sort of the difference that you've made to staff and their professional growth. And whilst there was a reluctance at the beginning, I think you've had a real impact on your staff, and congratulations on that, because it's lovely to hear others are motivated by your leadership, and which has obviously been very strong and robust, and sort of again being reflective. You can look back now and really congratulate yourself for that. And that was something that was lovely to hear, Emma.
Because you've done several roles in a short space of time, so well done you. And big leadership roles. Acting head teachers, and we know it's a massive responsibility, and leading that from is superb. So well done, and thank you very much for that presentation. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Thank you. It has been a bit of a catapult, and it's just being mindful of that. But I think it's what the staff wanted, and I think the biggest thing is just being present. Just being present. And I'm very much leading by example, and that's all well and good, but it goes back to the little proverb of the little red hen. You can't do it all by yourself. So that's been I've had to learn, and I'm really quite stubborn. I don't like to ask for help. I want people to feel empowered to offer and to see those things and develop that autonomy. But we're a small school, so you can, I think the ripples developed quite quickly, you know, spread quite quickly. So thank you. I really appreciate that, because it is quite a lonely job sometimes within these four walls. So it is nice to hear and just share, really. And it's nice to listen to everybody else. Thank you.
Yeah, and I really liked it where you reflected, you know, what do the staff need? It's not about me as a leader, it's about what their needs are. I thought that was really insightful, and sometimes I wonder if as leaders that's what we need to think about more, rather than what we can give as a leader, but what do our teams need? I thought that was really, really thought-provoking. So thank you.
You can tell I'm doing academic work, because I'm more into, you know, I've done a lot of academic research, and it was really interesting reading up on human capital and social capital and how they link. And we never really have time to be academic and have a chance to do some professional reading, but it is really important. So I think it's really nice that this is the direction that the training that we're having is going in, to offer that and have time to do that. We so need the time to do it.
Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you very much. That was really excellent. I really enjoyed it.